Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now in today's video, we are going to be going over a yield farming update. So if you don't know already, I have been yield farming over the last sort of few weeks over on Uniswap on different chains such as Base. We got a pool on Arbitrum, we got a pool on Polygon, AVAX, and just a bunch of different chains farming different tokens. And today we're going to be doing an update on it on the passive income that it has been generating. But before we get into the video, if you could please hit the like button, subscribe down below if you are new, and turn the notifications on so you don't miss a future video. Make sure to go follow me over on Twitter, join the Discord servers, all that good stuff is in the description. And with that said, I am not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Always do your own research and be very careful about what you're investing in crypto and DeFi because it is the riskiest stuff in the world. With that said, let's jump into the video. So one of the tools that I use for yield farming is Aperture Finance. You can essentially use it to manage your positions. Now, if we go over to liquidity management, which is the main thing you want to use, you can see all of your pools on the network that you choose. Now, again, they have access to pretty much every network that's on Uniswap, which you can farm them. And yeah, you essentially can go ahead and manage all of your liquidity. You can go ahead and collect fees, reinvest, add liquidity. You can rebalance your pools, all that good stuff directly from Aperture, which is good stuff. Now I will be having an AMA with one of the founders at Aperture next week. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to jump on and talk about the tool and how you can use it for your benefit with yield farming. But essentially with yield farming, all you're doing is, let's say for example, this Ethereum pool I have here on the base network, I am supplying Ethereum and USDBC on the base network between the prices of $2,020 and $2,450, which is the price of Ethereum. So you pick a range depending on how much you think the price is going to move. So again, I've got this set between $2,020 and $2.45K per Ethereum. And essentially every time that it trades between here, every time that there is a swap between these two tokens, you get a portion of those fees because you're the one supplying the liquidity. Now, for someone to swap a token on Uniswap, right, for you to make a trade or whatever, there needs to be liquidity. There has to be money put up in that pool between those two tokens for you to trade and buy it. So because I'm supplying this liquidity, I then get rewarded with the fees that are generated through that swap. I then get those fees. So I collected fees, yesterday, about 23 hours or 23 hours ago, something like that. And I've made $17 on this pool already, which I do have 4K in here. It's not a huge amount on $4,000, but this is a pretty safe pool, Ethereum to USDC. Now, I will say that the best pools that you want to go for, and I'll show you how to choose these pools in a second and where you can find returns and stuff like that. You don't necessarily want to be having pools where you have one blue chip or one actual token and one stable coin. This is bad because, in my opinion anyway, and actually all of the pools that I have at the moment are blue chip and stablecoin, but that's because I plan to hold them long term. If you want to make money with this as well, you want this number to go up, this dollar amount that you put in, instead of just claiming the fees, then you do have to, or the best thing to do is to have two tokens which are two actual cryptos, right? Not a stable coin. Because as this price moves, so let's say, for example, Ethereum drops below this $2,020 mark, I will get all USDC, right? So this Ethereum will obviously be worth less, but it will sell this automatically and give me USDC. Now, on the plus side, if it goes above 2,450, it will sell this and give me this. So yeah, that is, or it may, actually, I think it might be the other way around. My bad. But either way, that is not what you want. You want to have two tokens. So if it goes up, you want to have two tokens which are kind of, running at the same time. Of course, USDC doesn't change in the dollar value, so which is good and bad in a bearish or uncertain markets. If you don't want to make money on the way up with your initial balance, then doing this sort of strategy is fine because, again, you're putting in your lump sum or whatever you want to farm with and you're collecting fees for passive income, which is what I'm doing with these pools. But if you want to make money on the way up as these tokens go up, then you need to have two actual cryptos, if that makes sense. So when when it drops below this minimum range, you have all of it in one of the tokens, and then as it goes above this, you have all of it in the other token. But you want them to be two cryptocurrencies. So when the other one does inevitably go up, in this case it will be the USDC portion of this pool, then of course you will make money back with that. But if I then go ahead and it sells and I have all USDC, then USDC doesn't go up in value. So I'll have to rebalance this manually or leave this to do it itself, and I'm going to lose the dollar value on this. So keep that in mind. But yeah, this is one pool here. You can see $16.87 here to claim. Let's see if there's been any more since it's been recording. 0.01 of a cent, right? So that's the first pool I'm in, ETH to USDC. If we go over to Polygon, I have a couple of smaller pools over here, which is, this one is Matic to USDC. And you can see we made $6 in about 20 hours or so. And then we have an AVAX pool as well. So you can see we have $1,000 in AVAX, which again, it is, we've made $7 over the last 24 hours. Now, AVAX is dropping sort of in this lower portion. You can see the price is currently this, and this is the minimum I've got it set to. So this will probably sell, well, actually, it should be out of range. But yeah, it's going to sell pretty much all of this and give me this until AVAX goes back up and then it rebalances automatically. And the last pool that I'm in is this Arbitrum pool here. So if we take a look over on this one, you can see I have 3.5K in Arbitrum, and I've made $43 in the past 24 hours on this pool, which is pretty cool to see. And I've also made like $200 or so on this. I did rebalance this pool. Now, here's another thing as well with these pools farming on Uniswap, with Aperture using it as a management tool. Do not rebalance. The last thing that you want to be doing is rebalancing, especially if you're with these USDC, if you're with a crypto, let's say a blue chip and a stablecoin. You don't want to be rebalancing, because what you're doing is you're locking in impermanent loss. So impermanent loss is when obviously you put in a certain dollar amount and it dips below that, but you still have your position open. You don't really need to worry about that. The only thing you need to worry about is when you actually sell the position to rebalance these pools. So pick a range where you think the crypto is going to stay between. So if we take a look at Arbitrum here, what's Arbitrum at now? 151. So if we take a look over the last 14 days, if you want to go on a higher broad, then you can do 30 days. I would probably pick a range somewhere between this. Let's say like $1.05 and $1.66. Because the worst thing that you want to be doing is rebalancing, because again, you're locking in that impermanent loss, and that's not something you want to be doing, right? So if this drops below this price and I had two actual cryptos, I wouldn't be too worried, because as it goes back up, I'll make money on that side as well, and it will come back to my initial price, right? Hopefully, if the token price gets back there. Now, if you've picked good tokens to farm with, then you should be okay. But the last thing you want to be doing is rebalancing, because that kind of just wipes out all of your gains and everything. And again, when it dips below these, yes, you won't be making fees, but you also need to protect your liquidity balance as well if you've got a huge amount in there. Of course, you should only be playing money that you can afford to lose, but same principle, right? You just don't want to be rebalancing. So those are the pools that I'm in. This ARB pool has been doing pretty well. I mean, $43 in 24 hours is pretty good. That's what, 1.5% or something like that, which again is pretty decent. So how do I find these pools? Well, first thing you want to do is you want to go over to build metrics. This is one of the tools which you can use, and you want to go over to the pools section, which gives you these different pools that are available on Uniswap right now. Now, this will only display pools that have a total value locked of over 750K and a trading volume over 375K. So keep that in mind. And they have a bunch of different chains here. So let's go over to Arbitrum, for example, and you can filter this by estimated fees. So if you want the really, really, really high paying ones, then you can filter this by fees. But for example, like this here, BPET to ETH, I have no idea what BPET is. I haven't got a clue what this token is, and it's not even on CoinGecko. So this is another thing you have to look at as well, is look at how much risk you're taking. This is 13% in the last 24 hours. Now, bear in mind, this estimated fees is taking into account the previous 24 hours as well. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, BPET, I have no idea what that is. So just keep that in mind when you're picking pools. Pick coins that you're familiar with and that you're aware of, so that you don't get wrecked. Because some of these could be rug pulls as well. Tokens, you just never know. So that is one thing, one good way to do it. Again, you can switch between different chains and see what's around. Now, bear in mind, it will only show pools that have a decent amount of liquidity, and this is only showing Uniswap pools. Now there are different places to farm on, and I'll show you in just a second here. But you can take a look at Base, you can take a look at pretty much all of the chains that are on here. Just have a look through and take a look at some decent ones, right? Bitcoin to Ether on Base, TBTC to ETH is going to get just under 0.7% per day. So it's nothing crazy. It's not like these daily ROI dApps, which we like, but it is pretty safe. I mean, of course, there's still risks, but it is pretty safe. So that's on Base. You can take a look at all these different chains. They got a bunch of them, right? So this is one tool to find. Now, if you find your own token that you want to calculate, that you want to take a look at and provide liquidity for, then you can do that. You can actually go over to here and you can pick, let's say you want to do ETH and USDC on okay, let's actually do something else. Let's do Bitcoin to ETH on Ethereum, and let's click calculate, and you can kind of pick your ranges. Let's say you want to put $1,000 in here and you want to have a decent range. Let's say the range is, say, here. We want to bring that right down. Again, on this, you're only going to make about 3% a month. So again, you just kind of need to pick your ranges. Obviously, the tighter the range, the more you will make. But again, you know, this is a very, very, very tight range, and you'll have to rebalance this pretty often, or you'll be out of range quite often. So you can actually leverage these nows. You can leverage these now, which what I recommend doing, I don't know. This is up to you, but you can leverage it with YLDR. Leverage your Uniswap V3 positions or get a loan for it, which you can leverage, borrow, and supply liquidity with your positions. So this is something else that I can maybe cover in the future, borrowing on your Uniswap pools and borrowing your liquidity. But again, I don't know if I really want to mess around with that, but that is something you can do. Okay, so let's go over to another one. So PancakeSwap, they also allow you to farm on. So if you go to earn and then farms, we are currently on the Arbitrum network, and you can see that USDC to ETH gets 88% a year, which is pretty nice. Now you can go over to earn, you can go to pools as well, which again is the concentrated liquidity. So if we swap over to the BNB chain, for example, yes, we want to switch network. Staking Cake, obviously you can go ahead and stake Cake for, you know, a decent return, but the main thing you want to be looking at is the farms. And you can see there's a lot of farms. Cake to BUSD is currently providing 94% a year. Now again, you do have to, this is concentrated liquidity, so you do have to keep that in mind as well. But yeah, you can go ahead and earn a decent portion of money on this. Now again, if you go ahead and take a look at the price range, I don't think Cake is really going to go that crazy. Let's say you want to do like minus 20% and above 20%. Let's say you compound this every day, or let's take compounding off, and let's say you put $1,000 in, and you can see that you're going to make this amount per year, which isn't too bad. I mean, that's 239% a year. Now again, let's take that out. Again, that's going to drop to 128% on Cake to BUSD. But yeah, this is another place you can earn, is on PancakeSwap. Again, they are on a bunch of different chains, as you know, and there are some other places that you can farm on as well. But those are kind of the two main things that I would probably look at. You can do simple staking, but again, you're not going to earn very much on simple staking. Cake stakes, again, this just kind of helps your positions generate a boost of yield, which again, you're going to lock Cake to get VE Cake for a certain amount of time, which again, I will maybe cover this in a future video. But yeah, pretty cool stuff here with PancakeSwap farming as well. I do like this. This is pretty nice. You can go over to farms, and let's say you want to put in Cake and BNB, you can do that as well. Now, if BNB goes up, PancakeSwap is obviously the main DEX for BNB. So maybe the Cake to BNB farm, if you're bullish on both of those, could be pretty decent as well. And again, I wouldn't do massive ranges on this. Maybe like 20% each swing. And let's say you put $1,000 in here, and you don't want to compound this. You don't want to compound the rewards. You're gonna get again 1.2K per year, roughly, which isn't too bad, right? So there you go. guys, that is going to be it for this video. Just some interesting stuff here for yield farming. I do like this Arbitrum pool. In fact, I think I have like 300 and something bucks over here, which I do want to deploy additionally into these. $43. Let's give this a refresh to see if we've made any more on this. No, not yet. But the market price is slightly dropping on ARB here. So yeah, pretty cool stuff here with yield farming on Uniswap. Again, bunch of other places you can farm on, but these are my main pools. Sorry, this is where I mainly do it, is on Aperture. I will be doing a video on this. And again, you really want to be looking at pools that are sort of 2 tokens. Now, there is, you do have a lot of farms on Solana as well, which are doing pretty well. So if you're a Solana guy, then there is a lot of places on Sol to farm, which is nice to see as well. Like ETH to ARB could be a pretty decent shout. If you're bullish on both of these tokens, that could be a pretty good shout. But again, this is up to you to decide. You've got Bitcoin to ETH on ARB here as well. Now, for example, like this Bitcoin to ETH pool wasn't doing very well on Ethereum chain, but it is doing pretty well, $3 a day on the ARB chain. So again, just make sure you do cross-reference chains and seeing what you're, seeing what the different yields are for the same pairs on different chains, just to make sure that you're not getting wrecked with the fees when you could simply bridge the funds and earn a decent yield elsewhere. But guys, that's going to be it for the video. If you have enjoyed, make sure you smash a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.